Hey everybody, it's Jennifer, and today I want to talk to you about my new 2022 Hourglass palette, my review, my pros, my cons, what I'm thinking about it. Let's jump right in. Alright, so before I begin this video, I want to say a couple things. Number one, as I did in my current travel routine, and I will link that here, this is the 2020 Hourglass Holiday Palette, and I have freaking loved it. I have loved it so much that I have panned these two finishing powders, and not just panned, but like cleaned them out. And all of these blushes were domed. I've probably used this one the least, but I've used the heck out of everything else. This was a palette that was well worth it to purchase for me. I've really loved it. So when the 22 palette came out, I knew I had to purchase it. Now, having said all of that, there was a customization feature where you could pick the cover and you could pick the palette. And when I tell you, okay, let me back up for a second. The outer palette customization, for me, that was easy. It was so easy to pick my outer packaging preference, and it was this tiger all day long for two reasons. Number one, I love the color blue. It's my favorite color. And number two, I am a Leo born in the year of a tiger, so I am definitely loving the tiger motif. It suits my inner animal. So this one was an obvious pick for me. I loved the packaging. Don't get me wrong, the gold is pretty. I thought the 2021 marbling one that everybody said looked like bacon and you couldn't unsee that. Yeah, I didn't feel that one so much. But the gold was fine, but I love this. I love it. So let me talk to you about how I chose the inside of my palette. Guys, I went round. I watched swatches nonstop, videos nonstop, and I got this the first day it came out. So I had to make a choice quickly and then sort of justify my choice and try to feel like that was the best choice for me, and I went round. I knew the tiger palette as default was not for me. I knew that everything was genuinely going to be too dark. I wanted highlighters I could use. They were too dark. They were just too dark. So the next thing I had to decide was between the elephant and the butterfly palette. So I love highlighters, I love bronzer, I love blush, I love all the things. I probably love blush the least of those just because I can usually pull off any blush. And that's not to say that, ooh, look at me, I can pull off any blush, but I'm so fair skinned that I can go very light handed, and as long as I have a little bit of tint, it's fine. If it's coral, peach, I kind of have neutral undertones that tend to lean cool, but I do okay with warm undertones as well because of that neutrality. So I just, like, blush is fine. I'm not obsessed with it. But bronzer is really hard to make look good on me, and I really love highlighters because they're genuinely beautiful and shiny and often too dark. So when I saw the elephant palette, I just was so worried about the highlighter in there. I thought it was going to be too dark. And I will also back up and say that the metallic strobe highlighter that Hourglass released a couple years ago, I almost bought that last year on sale in the UK, and I didn't. But I've really wanted to try the metallic strobe formula for a long time. So that highlighter became important to me. So in the 2021 version that I got, this has the strobe. All right, so the strobe powder glistening strobe light. So that's not the metallic strobe formula. This is just the regular strobe formula. And this one I wear all the time. It's very subtle, the strobe formula, but it is a pretty subtle highlight. And I can wear it. It's not too dark for me. It's not too deep that I can wear it. Now you're gonna be like, well, where is it? It's here, but it is very subtle. And I wish the light would hit that so you could at least see. Let me do that again. So you could, it is a subtle highlight though, no joke. Here it is on the finger. I'm just going to put this here so you can see it when the light hits it a bit better. So there you go. Hopefully you can see that. I don't know why the light's not hitting that, but oh, there you go. It is very subtle. It's a subtle sheen. It's a subtle highlighter. But as you look from this way, there is no cast because I can actually wear it. So I've really enjoyed that highlighter. Too dark that I can't wear it, but I have found that, you know, I also often wish it was a bit more blinding because, as we can see here, it's very subtle. So that's the strobe formula. It is not a finishing powder. It is a highlighter according to Hourglass, but that became important to me. So when I was deciding between butterfly and elephant, I felt like I can make the bronzer work in butterfly. I can make it work because I can go with a light hand. The blushes are going to be perfect for fair skin tone. Finishing powders, I can make them work if I mix them just like I did here, because this one is too dark for me on its own. I've had to mix, but I can make it work, especially in summertime. But that highlighter, I can never make that highlighter work. The highlighter in the Elephant palette is so deep and so dark. You will see a line, a straight streak on my cheek. And I knew that that wouldn't work. So for me, it was the butterfly. It had to be the butterfly. Before I show you the palette on the inside, let me talk about the outside for a second. It's so heavy. It is definitely heavier than this. It is so nice. It is a luxe experience. Oh, clasp shut. Opening it, yes, okay. There is no like stand it open. And I know that that's something that I have heard people say, because this one you can. You can definitely stand it open. You can angle it this way before it closes. I mean, you got a little bit of flexibility. This one, you cannot. I mean, it's down. But it's heavier. It feels metal. It feels nice and heavy. So here is the inside of the palette. Oh, I've seen so many YouTubers and influencers who are not in this color story talk about how boring it is because there is no bronzer. My experience has been different from that. I appreciate their point of view, but my experience has been very different. So let me just quickly swatch these and show you guys these, and then I will kind of talk about why my experience is different. So I just want to show you the two finishing powders first. One is more cool toned than the other, which I love, honestly, because I can use the yellow one, more yellow toned under my eyes. This is probably not going to show up at all because these are my colors. But yeah, so you can kind of see there, like that is a nice blend. Even though I'm a little bit tan right now, for me, it's still perfect. I've also heard a lot of YouTubers say these blushes are the exact same color on the eyes. It's not right. They pull the same color. That's not my experience either on my complexion. So this one is the one on the top, which is the soft flush. This one is the Sunset Glow. This soft flush is cooler toned to me. Like that is the big difference. And again, it's how they show up on me. So this one is more cool toned. It is a bit more rosy. And I'm going to darken that up just a little bit so you can see that just a little bit darker, but it is genuinely lighter to me. So more rosy, more mauve, if you will. This one is got a lot more red base and a lot stronger. So for me, those are two very different blushes. I appreciate that on different skin tones, those may come across as exactly the same. But on my skin tone, you can definitely see a difference. And then I want to talk about the highlighter, because again, the highlighter for me was important. So the first one is called Incandescent Light. Is that right? Yeah, the strobe. And the last one is the new highlighter in Metallic Strobe Celestial Strobe Light. So another thing that kind of irked me a little bit is I saw a lot of people calling the strobe one a finishing powder, but it isn't. It's a highlighter, and that's what Hourglass says, not me. They say that it is a highlighter. It's the strobe, it's not the metallic. So it's that natural highlighter just like in the other palette, but it is a highlighter. So this is the natural one, the strobe. This is the metallic. You can definitely see a difference. And I'll be honest, I love having the options. So here's the natural one. It's soft, it's subtle, it's natural. And I'm going to put right above it the metallic. It definitely catches the light in a way that the other doesn't. So let me talk to you about my experience. So another reason why I was not sad about not getting a bronzer, even though I would have liked to have had a full face, is this bad boy. I will link my Lucky Box unboxing right here, but I was so disappointed to get this highlighter in the color Bronze Flash, Vanish Bronze Flash, because it is so dark and so deep. There's no way I could wear this. There's just no way. But what I found is when this one didn't come with a bronzer, I was like, I'll need a bronzer. I'll have to travel with an extra bronzer. And I thought, I wonder if I can turn that Hourglass highlighter into a bronzer. And that's what I did. And that's what I'm wearing today. And the reason that I can get away with it is because, yes, it's a high sheen. I'm going to take my watch off. But because it is so sheer of a formula, and because the rest of the powders are so glowy, it doesn't stand out at all. I mean, you can see around my forehead, it doesn't look like I'm wearing highlighter for bronzer. And it is because it just diffuses out so naturally. So what I did, so here it is, and you can see it's bright. It's definitely a highlighter. It's definitely a highlighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger and just blend this out and just show you guys how I sheared that out. Okay. Just going to blend that out a bit. I mean, it blends out so easily as well. So there you go. So it has a little bit of a sheen, not a highlighter. So you can see where my watch was. But yeah, it's bronzy, but not highlighted. Do you see that? Like what I've been able to make work here? Let me do this again for you because I'm so happy with how this turned out. Let me just put this here. Okay. We've got a definitely bronze tan there, and we are just going to diffuse that out. Sorry, I can't see what I'm doing. Just blending that out. Check that out. That's definitely, woo, goodness, that looks dirty. That looks so dirty. That's too, let me blend that out a bit more and spread that out. It's a very concentrated area right there. But there you go. You can get the point. Like it no longer looks like a highlighter. It now looks just like a bronze with a sheen. I'm really, really, really excited about that. So I just really loved how that turned out. And you can even keep blending that out if it's still too deep for you. But I thought it was great. So what not getting a bronzer in this palette did is it forced me to look at a product that I already had that I wasn't utilizing, and it forced me to use that in a new way. So I am wearing that as bronzer today. I have it around my forehead. I have it down here on my cheeks. Like, and I think it looks so natural. So let me also give you my brief review of this palette. So I am wearing this palette now, and I have no foundation on. I have no foundation on. This is why I love these palettes and why they're so worth it to me. I'm gonna go ahead and take my glasses off, so there's probably gonna be red marks here. So please ignore. I just didn't get that bronzer there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, so just ignore that. But I have no foundation on at all. I have no foundation on. Can you believe this? There's no foundation. I have a little bit of concealer, touch conceal here and there. I have a little bit of concealer under my eyes. That's it. So what I did is I started out with my bronzer. So after I spot concealed a little bit. So I started out with my bronzer, and because I had no foundation, I could really blend out this highlighter as a bronzer. I could blend it out real good because there was no foundation I had to worry about disturbing. So I took my little putty bronzer blush and I just really blended that brush. I really blended that out, and I thought, oh my gosh, that looks so good. I was so pleased with it. So then I took the more yellow toned powders in, what are they called? Diffused light. And I went under my eyes, set my eyes just a little bit. Then I used the more cool toned powder in Ethereal Light all over. You can see the glow. Then I used the blush. I used the more cooler toned blush today. And then I did the highlighter. Now for the highlighter, I did the natural and the metallic on top. And the reason that I did that is because I love this also, guys. Like, okay, so let's say that you feel like this is just way too much. It's way too much. I don't want something this blinding today, but this is a bit too soft. You can mix these two together and really bring this one down to like the perfect level. So let me show you that. That there. So subtle. Let me build that up just a little bit more actually. It is very subtle. It's actually like kind of glistening. It's prettier in real life than it looks like on screen, but it is very glistening. And so now I'm going to go back over it with that metallic strobe highlighter. Look at that. So that increases that glow, but it takes away, and just to show you each on both sides. So here they are separately, and here they are together. So you can see what I mean. Like it takes this and it brings it down a little bit, but amps this up. It's really pretty, and that's what I'm wearing today. And that's a glow. You know what I'm saying? You can't see any streaks straight on. Like, woo! My goodness. She is glowy. I feel like just a glowing goddess. I really do. And I have to say, these powders, the longer you wear them, the more they settle in with your natural oils, and the more they just look so beautiful. I'm not wearing foundation. I'm wearing a full eye look, by the way. Like, this is a Charlotte Tilbury full eye look, but no foundation. Who is she? What is she doing here? I would never go out without a foundation unless I'm on vacation and it's hot and like everybody has barely any makeup on, and I was like, okay, I don't have a foundation. I would go to work this way. I really, really would. I feel absolutely beautiful and glowy and healthy. My skin looks healthy, so it's all thanks to these powders. So this for me was the perfect purchase. Love the butterfly palette. Love that it has forced me to use this in a new way. And also it's very pretty. I can't believe how pretty this is as a bronzer on me. So if you have this product, and I talked such smack about that in my Lucky Box, I was like, how dare they send me something I can't use? But here I am now, almost a year later, going on a year later, and I'm like, wow, this is a great product. I just had to learn how to use it in a way that works for me. I know we did the testing on the eyes, but I just thought it was so shimmery, it could never be a bronzer. And it just, look at that. It's just a soft, once you diffuse it out, it is such a soft glow, and it matches the glow of the other products. It doesn't like, I mean, it's not crazy. I mean, you can see, like, it's not crazy. I love it. I love how this look came out. I love this palette. I love these powders. Oh my gosh, how she goes on, but I could go on. All right, so that's it for me, guys. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you got one of these palettes, which one? And let's just have a conversation about how this is a reminder that when we watch influencers and reviewers and things like that, if they review a palette that's not necessarily meant for their skin tone and they try to make it work and they evaluate it, I don't think they can help it but see it as, if this isn't a palette that could ever work for me, that is going to be a part of the bias. I just don't think it can be helped. If I'd reviewed the Tiger palette, I'd be like, wow, these are way too deep. I can appreciate the quality, but there's going to be a disappointment that they don't do anything for me. I think that's only natural. So I do think it's important, if you're looking for products, to really try to find those people who match your skin tones, who match your likes. It's not just skin tones, but like I said, I really love highlighters. And also I had another thing that I could use for bronzer. So this is it. It's my travel bag for face makeup on vacation. There it is. It's so small. So I have a different perspective. So that's the other thing too. Like, people see multiple reviews because people have different perspectives on these products and what they can, you know, fill in for you and let you know. All right, guys. So that's it for me. I've jabbered on for way too long. I hope everybody's doing great, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.